Well, I guess I started back in satellite as a child of the space age, watching the various launches, the moon landing, and the like, and it always held an attraction for me. More recently, I was at the Lawrence Livermore National Lab running a Star Wars program, Brilliant Pebbles, and I sort of ended up sucked into that, and that got me reignited and re-excited about space. So in the early stages of my career, I was a recently minted PhD at the Lawrence Livermore National Lab, and I got brought in initially to do a computer-aided design project. After about 9 months, I was invited to join at the time, super secret Star Wars project. And I was just one of the engineers, and I was focused on getting things done. And after a while, I don't know, after a few months, my boss at the time pulled me aside and he said, well, you realize you're actually running this project. Why don't we make it official? And so I just sort of fell into the job. And it was mostly a matter of seeing what needed to get done, and nobody else was doing it. So I figured out either I'd have to do it or get somebody else to. Well, early in the history of DigitalGlobe, we were famous for blowing up the most remote sensing satellites. We had 2 launch failures in a row, Early Bird and Quick Bird. And those were obviously very painful experiences for the company. You think of them as near-death experiences. And we could have either packed up and gone home or looked at what is it that we did that didn't work and figure out a way around it. And a lot of it boiled down to focus on details, paying attention to details, being rigorous about system engineering, and also making sure that your motivations and your partner's motivations were in sync as opposed to divergent. So when I look for new employees, whether it's somebody we're hiring from the outside or somebody that we're promoting from the inside, I tend to look for people who have the ability to balance both being able to see where to go and having the execution skills in order to get there. One without the other tends to be unsuccessful. If you can have the vision but you don't know how to get there, then you're maybe at best going to write white papers, but you're not going to get anything done. And if you have the ability to execute but don't know where you're going, well, you'll get there, but it's not necessarily where you want to be. So I look for people who have the ability to balance both. And a question that I often ask people in an interview, I want them to talk to me about what they consider to be their professional high point and their professional low point. And there's no specific answer that I'm looking for. What I'm really interested in is how they think and how they approach that answer, the things that are important to them, why they're important to them. It's an opportunity to uncover the major learnings in somebody's career. Often professional low points are the points where you stepped your game up because you learned a big lesson. Well, I think there are a couple things that make the satellite industry as a whole a good choice for somebody interested in engineering. One is that unlike many disciplines, it's very interdisciplinary. There are so many aspects that go into making a satellite successful that it's hard not to learn about more than just your narrow discipline. And that's particularly appealing because it makes you a very well-rounded engineer. It means that you're able to take on a variety of tasks, both in the satellite industry as well as should you choose to move beyond the satellite industry. It makes you very versatile, very much a utility sort of player. So with a lot of the evolution that's taking place in satellites, one of the big benefits of that is that it's lowering the cost for doing something. And whenever the cost for doing something is lowered, the risk of failure is lowered as well. And it means that it's possible to be a little bit more risk-taking, a little bit more innovative. And so that's one of the things that's helping drive innovation in the satellite space. Now, in my particular industry, which is satellite remote sensing, one of the big drivers is being able to marry the satellite technology with what you can do with the imagery on the ground. And so we've seen a lot of a flowering of the application of artificial intelligence and machine learning to enable us to convert hundreds of, 100 petabytes worth of imagery into actionable information. And that's really exciting, and I think we've only seen the very beginning of that. So just to be clear about the timeline, back in the fall, we were approached by Howard Lance, the CEO of MDA, and because DigitalGlobe's a public company, we initiated a very rigorous process to determine what offers might be available for the company, and MDA turned out to be the best of those options. Now, there are a number of aspects that make MDA going forward an excellent choice for DigitalGlobe. An excellent partner for DigitalGlobe. We've had a long-standing relationship with MDA. They've been involved in some of the earliest ground systems for DigitalGlobe. They're also highly complementary in the sense that MDA has radar expertise, DigitalGlobe has electro-optical expertise, and we think the combination of electro-optical and radar is particularly exciting. So boundless enthusiasm and a lack of common sense. It's really a mix of being able to see where I want to go, not knowing exactly how I'm going to get there, but having confidence that I will.